Hello, sir.
Hey guys, how are you?
I'm doing great. What about you?
I'm good. Happy to join.
Uh, perfect. It's really lovely to accept our offer to welcome our program as the Aviator. I'm Ender Metistekli from Turkey,
Nice.
and nice to meet you, sir. And thank you again.
Same, yeah, no, happy to be here. My last girlfriend was from Istanbul, so
Really? Oh
uh,
my God! Well, what a coincidence! Perfect. Lovely. So, sir, just before starting the program, I would like to give concise information, then I will just leave the floor to you. I have bunch of questions. I will try to choose,
okay,
and I will try to do my best, okay, for that, and we will continue for that.
sounds
So,
great.
sir, we are performing to the program Ask the Aviator, and we are trying to host the prominent inspiring character like you, to host our program to share their experience for enthusiasm for the future aviator especially. And I am an Airbus pilot in Turkey. And again, thanks for coming to our program. And just for those who didn't know I'm pretty sure everybody knows you, but can you concisely introduce yourself to our followers, sir?
Sure. Hi everybody. My name is Brandon Webb. I was originally born in Canada. As a kid, moved to California, joined the Navy. Uh, I actually wanted to fly planes ever since I can remember. I had left home early and didn't have college money, so I joined the Navy for college education, and I'd grown up scuba diving, and that's what got me into the Navy Special Ops, the Navy SEALs, and
Mm-hmm.
then as I was in the Navy, they gave me the opportunity to go to flight training, and so
Mm-hmm.
in my late 20s, went to flight training. Started flying the stuff that all the new pilots learn on the Pipers and the Piper Cherokee, Piper Warrior, Cessna 172. Um, then I got out of the Navy in 2006. I was in the SEAL teams for about 10 years. Before that, I was a search and rescue swimmer in helicopters, um,
Mm-hmm.
which was a great experience with flight crew, resource management, just aviation safety in general. Um, but I went to the Navy SEAL teams in '99, and then I got out just before 2007.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that was when I really started getting into flying a lot of different airplanes, unusual airplanes. But that's my background. But I could go a little bit more if you want, or
Yeah, okay, it's perfect, sir. So I believe we had some connection issues now, and we are still waiting for our followers to join, actually.
okay.
And I'm just checking the connection. Do you read me five?
Yep, 5 out of
Okay,
5.
perfect. Perfect, sir. So what I would like to tell you is, we would like to kindly introduce ourselves too. As I told you, I'm Ender Meslekli. Again, nice to meet you and welcome to our Ask the
Thank you.
Aviator. And we find all your activities really inspiring, and we are aviation enthusiastic, sorry for my fractured English, just like you, and wanted to share your experience with the viewers. So as an Pilot Olsam, we are a consultancy company. It's consisted of pilots and who is more than 20 years aviation experience. We are assisting and mentoring pilot trainee to become a pilot like us. And we have contracted schools all over Europe, USA, and Turkey. So after concise description, let's continue with the question. As I told you, we have bunch of questions, sir.
Let's do it.
So, so questions to the being an SEAL and Navy SEAL and the pilots. And why did you decide to be a SEAL, or why did you decide to be a pilot?
So, like I talked a little bit earlier, I had ever since I can remember, I wanted to be a pilot. And I think a big influence on me as a young child, I used to watch this cartoon called Robotech. It's actually a
Uh-huh.
Japanese cartoon, and it
Yeah, cool.
was I don't know if you remember that as a pilot, but I was obsessed with this cartoon. Every morning, get up and watch, and the guys were, flying like basically jet aircraft that could go into outer space, and it was this just crazy cartoon that captured my imagination, and that's the earliest memory I have of really wanting to fly airplanes. Fast forward, life happens. Life happens
Yeah.
to us sometimes, and I ended up joining the Navy. I'd grown up as a child working on a scuba diving boat, so I got scuba certified at a very young age, 12 years old. Had all this boating experience, and when I went into the Navy, all my friends like, oh, you're going to be a Navy SEAL, like you're perfect. And I read a book about it, and I was like, oh, this is crazy, skydiving and scuba diving, all this crazy stuff. I said, okay, let me go do that. And so I joined the SEALs in '99. 220 of us started, 23 finished. I did a deployment with SEAL Team 3, and then was an instructor. That's actually my old instructor hat here.
Mm,
I was a
yeah.
sniper, and when I was a sniper instructor, I asked permission from the Navy. I said, I want to learn to fly. I have this time now. Let me take the lessons. So I did my up to my instrument rating um, in
Mm-hmm.
less than a year, and started flying. Um, pretty regularly. I was in a flying club in San Diego, and then I got invited into this military. It was this. If you remember the movie Fight Club with Brad Pitt, um, there's this
Mm-hmm.
underground like fighting club. Well, we have this underground air combat club, and it's in.
So, I mean, you mean, sorry to interrupt, you take your pilot training in Army, right? Or Navy?
I actually took it. I took it in civilian
Uh-huh.
outside of the Navy. They gave me orders to take it to a local San Diego flight school
Mm-hmm.
called National Air College,
Uh-huh.
and my instructor was a Navy guy, so he was a military guy.
Yeah,
Um,
so, okay.
and then when I started getting into aerobatics and air combat, I was trained by one of the original. His call sign is Condor. He was one of the original Top Gun instructors. There was 13 original when they stood up Top Gun in the Navy.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people know the movie. That group of aviators trained me up just like they would at a military, school for formation flying, one versus one air combat, where you're basically
Mm-hmm.
coming in at the merge, and then the
Yeah.
dogfight begins. But that's kind of how I get into that type of flying.
Okay, perfect. Lovely. So, which type of aircraft? Talking about the training, and as I told you, there are lots of questions that I need to filter them. So, what type of license you hold now? Talking about flight training.
Yeah, I hold just single engine instrument, seaplane, seaplane
Mm-hmm.
as well, and I have my tail wheel endorsement. I have my FA fast card, which is a
Uh-huh.
formation training, because I would say most of the flying I do is for short trips,
Mm-hmm.
aerobatics, or
Mm-hmm.
sightseeing with my friends, and usually no one's getting in my plane without doing some type of aerobatic.
It will not be the best idea, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. I like to fly upside down. What can I say?
It's nice. It's nice. Maybe we can see you in some Red Bull competition then. Who
Yeah,
knows?
maybe. Yeah,
The action keeping people young, yeah. But as an airliner, we are not fan of action. We are fan of slow motion, for
yeah,
the passenger comfort.
yeah. I like a little snap roll here and there.
Yeah. Perfect. So, which type of airplane you have flown up to now?
I've flown a lot of different airplanes, from I own a Yak. I'm a partner in a Yak 50, which is
Mm-hmm.
that's a 400 horsepower
Mm-hmm.
M14 radial engine.
Oh
Um,
my God.
very good power to weight ratio, and the 50s were made for aerobatic championships. An incredible plane. Almost hover it on the prop like a helicopter. A lot of power. I had a 52 before that, which is a much heavier two-seat trainer, but same engine. Um, I've owned both those planes. I still own the 50 with a partner. I fly, and I'll get into some of the other planes that I've flown. But today I have a Yak 50. I have the Vans RV8, which I think is one of the most affordable, fun airplanes you can own. Is the whole Vans aircraft experimental
Yeah, okay, perfect.
aircraft.
So, I mean, the voice and the synchronization is not doing well now. I do suggest you to restart, if it's possible, to, the live stream,
Yeah.
sir, because your voice is just coming, it's a little bit later than when you talk, and it's okay, still okay, but maybe some connection problem, it will be better to, the start, and we will continue where we stop, okay? If it's
Okay.
possible.
Got it. Got it.
Okay, perfect.
Hey, Wizard of Spa. There you are. You
Yeah,
guys are back.
yeah, there we are. I believe this is a little bit better, right? What do you think?
Yeah, probably. Probably on my end
So
a little
you,
bit. So
yeah,
I
so
was telling you
yeah,
about the
please
airplanes.
continue.
So the question was, what kind of airplanes have I flown? And I was getting into, I figured I would start with the airplanes that I own today and fly, which I have a
Mm-hmm,
partner in a Russian Yak 50. I fly
mm-hmm.
a Vans RV8, which is a tailwheel two-seater. Got great room for baggage. It's a great kind of short-term or short trip plane, but aerobatics, sightseeing, that kind of thing. I am also a partner in a Sea Ray amphibian. It's a light sport amphibian down here in Puerto Rico, which is where I'm at today. Um, so I like to fly a variety of different things. I love the seaplanes. I also love the aerobatics. I think it's a shame that some pilots in the U.S. that fly for the airlines have never been upside down in an airplane or done an inverted spin. And
We have an outside recovery training, sir. Of course, we are not fun, but at least we are doing something.
yeah, yeah, no, I get it. I get it. Yeah. Um, so those are the planes I fly now. Like I said before, I've owned a Yak 52, which is a two-seat Russian trainer, primarily like a
Mm-hmm.
military trainer. I've flown just about, most of the Cessna, the typical stuff, the Cessnas,
Yeah, 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 it's true.
172, 182. I used to own a Fuji. Uh, it was called a LM2. It was basically Japan licensed the T-34 trainer plans off of Beechcraft,
Mm-hmm.
and they built a four-seat version called the Fuji LM2.
So
Beautiful plane.
the variety of the planes you have flown with up to now, I believe. And what
Yeah,
is the next step in the future? Which kind of plane you would like to fly with?
I mean, I've flown the Honda Jet. I think it's a great kind of personal jet. I personally like flying these military planes. I used to own an Epsilon, which is a um, TB30 Epsilon. It looks like a Cicada, but it's a great single engine plane. 205 knot honest cruise
Mm-hmm.
on a single engine. Um, but to answer your question, I would like to own probably a Marchetti SF-211 jet. It's two
Mm-hmm.
seats. It's a beautiful little trainer. It's got a
Mm-hmm.
single engine, but it's such a safe, um, beautiful jet. And for me, it's like the perfect personal time machine. I can take
Okay,
the only
so
thing that plane has an issue with is the fuel, but you can get the pods on the wings to
mm-hmm.
extend the fuel range. But it's a great little jet. I would like to have one of those.
So So it's nice. When you ask the airliners, they mostly answer like, Boeing 787 or Airbus 350, 80, it depends. But of course, it depends the type that you would like to fly with.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the training or any flight experience, do you have any unforgettable, let's say, the flight experience or the moment that you would have never forget?
I mean, I've had a couple. I mean, there are the experiences I've had where I was like, wow, this is what I really like about flying, and that was my first time doing a full up like vertical dogfight with an
Yeah.
instructor in the background. Um, I remember it wasn't an engine failure on takeoff, but I had a prop balance issue on takeoff in my Yak 52, and I felt like the prop was going to fly off the airplane. I had to come back and ask for I didn't declare an emergency, but I was that close. Um, I asked for a landing immediately. Then I had an alternator failure, which, not a big deal, but I was in a new airplane. I'd only had about 4 or 5 hours in my Epsilon over New Mexico. I lost my alternator and the battery, as you know, at
But
altitude is
talking about the emergency and talking about it, sometimes we have some funny and, of course, funny studies
yeah.
besides the emergency situations, you know, and there are lots of, we are collecting, the
Oh,
memories when we fly.
I had a photographer in my back seat in the Yak
Uh-huh.
52. Um, he went totally ragdoll, like because we pulled probably 8 Gs, and he went
Yes,
blacked out,
really.
and he peed his pants, like peed his pants. Camera's like all flopping around on the video. Like that was a funny story. I had a guy one time. I had a guy one time in my Yak 52. Um, I said, whatever you do, because in the back seat there's another set of controls. You have a full
Yeah.
live cockpit, and I said, whatever you do, don't touch the stick. I briefed him on everything, and I came in and did I asked for an overhead brake. And
Uh-huh.
altitude my discretion. So you come in the towers here, you do a very low pass, pitch up,
Yeah,
and you're coming in with a lot of energy,
yeah, yeah.
and you're trading the energy for altitude and just do a very tight, short approach. This guy, as we were pitched up, how you level the nose and there's that little bit of
Yes. The
positive
negative
G.
G. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
negative G, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, he he threw up everywhere, like right as here. Ah! And not only that, he leaned forward and he was a very big guy, and he had his belly was in the stick, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I have to like keep the nose forward or else we're gonna stall. And I told him, whatever you do, don't open the hatch. And he asked me on the blah blah hatch, and I'm like, do not open the hatch. He flew open his hatch in the back, and now I can't hear anything. I can't hear the tower. I wish we were already cleared to land, but we come around and I taxi in, and I'm thinking the back of the plane is gonna be a disaster, like
Yeah.
barf everywhere.
Mhm.
And I got out of this. I shut down, and I got out, and I looked, and not a drop on the airplane, but it's like someone took a spray paint and sprayed him with puke all over, like
Yay.
perfectly. I think it's because he was such a big guy as well. He had it everywhere, and it was not hardly a drop on the airplane. And I was like, okay, I was helping him out, like, don't get any on the cockpit because it's so hard to clean up in the
Yeah,
Yak.
yeah, yeah. It will not. It
Yeah,
will not. I'm pretty sure it were not the best experience when it comes to the cleaning and flying in such environment. Yeah, it's true.
yeah.
And what do you think about the? Okay, I will just quiz and small question, which is not directly related to this topic, but I really would like to learn because the Aviator in 90s mostly inspired by Tom Cruise, the Top Guns and so on, so on. So, do you think that is there a real effect or motivation source on such Aviator and into raising, let's say?
Yeah, look, I think the sad thing is that the golden age of aviation
Yeah.
is over, right? And that's, I feel like aviation is going to kind of become what we have in the automobile enthusiasts, right? You have a lot of classic cars, Porsche, Lamborghini, Ferrari, and there's still people that want to go and experience that, and that will hopefully always be there for us. But it's tough to imagine what a young, very young kid would want to, other than flying his own aircraft, like going into the military, because we're seeing such a trend towards automation, autonomous aircraft. But I still think there is that window probably for a few more generations to experience that. But I think aviation will change into more of it'll be a passion sport, like motorsports is for a lot of mostly guys, right? But
It's true. I mean, as far as we know, you are multi-sided. Let's say you are doing motorbike, you are doing scuba diving, you are holding a world record in running. You are the author of the writing, some books, which is the bestsellers. So let's say multi-sided. So, but we are just trying to emphasize more on aviation now. That's why the question mostly coming from the aviation side. So, what's your aviation movie then?
I
Favorite one?
honestly, I thought about it. I mean, when I was a kid, I saw Top Gun and was obsessed, right? I was a teenager,
Mm-hmm.
and the big F-14 engines, and
Mm-hmm.
But I would say if I had to pick a movie that really comes to mind, it would be the two that come to mind right away are The Aviator with Leo DiCaprio, and then
Mm-hmm.
First Man with Ryan Gosling. That opening
Mm-hmm.
scene, which they actually, I rewatched it
Yeah.
on the airplane. They edited it out because I think it was
Yeah.
it's that first scene where he's ripping back into the atmosphere on the X1. It's a very stressful. Even me as a pilot, I was gripping my movie seat, but they cut that out on the airplane. Maybe they did the edit to save the passengers stress, but that movie
Yeah.
has some incredible aviation scenes in there into the putting the lunar lander on the moon as well, but some amazing flight scenes in that movie.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. We are time to time again we are losing a little bit connection, but it's okay now. Do you read me, sir? Okay. Do you read me,
Yep,
sir?
I have you.
Perfect. Okay. So, how has the aviation affected your life? I mean, how does it look like? Or what do you feel when you fly?
Yeah, so the question was, how has aviation impacted my life, and how does it make me
Yes.
feel when I fly? I mean, aviation has had such a huge impact on me. The people that I've met through aviation have been some of the best, friends I've had in my life. Being able to share aviation with my friends and family has been one of the greatest things. Just the feeling inside to take somebody up for the first time and do an aileron roll and watch their eyes get so big is amazing. Including my own mother. My mom can't get enough. She's like loops, rolls, whatever. She's been there. Um, so, and even like as a combat veteran, right, coming out back from Afghanistan and Iraq, experiencing some, I would say combat trauma, and
Mm-hmm.
seeing how aviation has been a very therapeutic for me. When I'm up flying a plane, I can't think about anything else except the pure joy of flying, and that's been a wonderful experience as well.
Okay, perfect. I mean, talking about such kind of, the being a Navy SEAL, it should be the great and really decision-making process is really hard under pressure, like your books. So when you apply such decision-making process to the aviation, what will you say?
So I think one of the best tools that when I was a sniper instructor, we studied mental management extensively,
Mhm.
and one of the best tools that I've applied to my aviation, um, call it career, has been visualization. So the ability, whether you're doing an aerobatic maneuver or a chain of maneuvers, whether you're flying an instrument approach. When I was getting my instrument rating, I remember I had the minimum hours to qualify, but there was, up until my check ride, I didn't have enough time and with work. So I would close my eyes and with the approach plates in front of me, kind of close my eyes and fly those approaches and make the, the communications in my head, call in for the clearance,
Like a
combat
shift,
clearance.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
shift,
And so
like.
just closing your eyes and just like imagining it over and over and over. And I remember flying that check ride, and it was one of the best check rides I've had in my life. And I had less practical flight preparation, but
Mm-hmm.
I did it through visualization. So I think especially for emergencies, because I not only rehearse the emergencies, especially the departure engine failure, which is probably the worst emergency you can have. I rehearse
Mm-hmm.
that over and over and over again, and visualize it in my head, because a lot of the young pilots wing departure emergency, right? And prep has definitely helped me manage that better, those
Okay,
situations.
I mean, of course, the under pressure on decision-making process is another issue, and thanks for the sharing your experience. And so, what I would like to ask you is, talking about this, I would like to little bit get into the personal success and the coaching. You know,
Sure.
is we see, you have a really very inspiring stories, from burning again from your ash to, let's say, zero to hero again, the fluctuation in the life, and it all depends on the mental achievement. And I believe so. What does the mental achievement mean for you? Actually, this is very important for aviator as well.
Yeah. Um, so first, the biggest thing is to have a goal, and really, you can have several goals, but I think having, um, kind of like that end goal. What is your end goal? Is your end goal to fly for the airlines? Do you want to fly corporate? And once you've identified like that particular goal, then everything else focuses in that direction. And so, I see a lot of even flight instructors, because I do the recurrent training and my biannual. And I remember talking to a guy, Kevin, and um, he was, he had a very clear objective. He's like, I want to fly for this airline, this platform. And I remember how I was thinking, like, oh, that guy he's got it together, because I've met other pilots where they're just like, yeah, I'm just trying to build hours to get hired for the airlines, but they don't know what airline, they don't know what platform, so it's like being a little bit more focused, I think will help any young person that
Yeah,
aviation.
the most of the pilot trainee is dreaming to be recruited by the airlines, but it's not the only option. There are, the business jets, even acrobacy, flight instructor, and there are lots of ways to, to
Yeah.
stay alive and doing
Well, even
something.
my friend owns, um, I think it's called Fly Tropic. It's the largest seaplane operator in like Miami, Bahamas, and he's actually an ex Navy, um, I think Top Gun guy. He started this airline, and talk about an amazing job flying, really interesting people all around the Bahamas and the Caribbean, making a really good living, but no flight is this, no landing is the same. You're, eyeballing the lagoon and checking the wind, making sure, you're
Yeah.
setting up for approach. That's an amazing flying job, you know. There are a lot of amazing flying jobs out there,
Yes, yes, yeah, for
you
sure.
know,
I
and
mean,
all,
it depends. It depends. Sorry to interrupt. It depends on your, the ambition and the goal, as you said.
yeah. I know my friend flies for American Airlines. He's a Marine. He flew F-18s in the Marine Corps, and he freaks
Hmm.
his first officers out because uh, he'll literally he'll hand fly an approach in hard IMC and be
Yeah.
like try and pass it off to these guys. They're like, no, 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 I want to push the button. But yeah, and those kind of guys, they fly because they love it. But the best, I would say, all my airline pilot friends, they love flying the stick and rudder Cub, right? With like one
Yes.
gauge on the front. It's just like that
Yeah, yeah,
feeling
yeah.
where you,
It will be better. Yeah, yeah. Otherwise, this is all automation, unfortunately. So, and I will come back to your books again because it's really inspiring, as I told you. For example, there was a picture that I see, in the Instagram about mastering your fears. When it
yeah,
comes to the fears, and it's, we have talked about aviation, we have talked about, the mastering, the decision-making procedures under pressure, and we link to the aviation. But what about the mastering the fear? How will you apply to the aviation, and what do you think about this?
oh, I think
Because
it's
some people really, I'm sorry to interrupt, to really afraid to start training, or because you need to invest some money, right? Or they really afraid physically flying.
yeah. I mean it. The short answer is everybody has fear. Everybody lives with fear. Sometimes the fear changes, right? Like maybe we overcome something. For me, I had lost a friend skydiving before I went for my
Mhm.
training, and this was a fear of mine. I'm like,
Accept my
it can happen. His
accept my
parachute
condolence.
malfunction. Um, if this guy parachute can malfunction, it can happen to me. So, the main thing is like if you have a goal and this fear is standing in the way of your goal, you have to make the decision to, okay, at that point I need to deal with this fear. So that's like a big turning point. And then there are ways I talk about in the book to visualize, take the smaller steps. The book was inspired by teaching my best friend how to swim, Kamal, who was in his 40s, and was afraid of the water. So with these small steps, you don't have to like, if you have a fear of flying upside down, you don't have to jump into a stunt plane and get ripped around the sky upside down. You can maybe start off slow, right, and do some wing overs and just get comfortable and work your way up. Maybe it's an aileron roll at first, um, but there are ways to kind of deal with the fear. But the most important thing is identify, you know, does this is this fear standing in the way of me being the kind of person I want to be, in the relationship I want to be in, or in the career I want in
Yeah,
life? And then once you have that, you can kind of go from there.
yeah, perfect. So I have some quick question. Okay, I mean, as I told you, I have a bunch of questions, but I need to cut it off. I have
Yeah.
quick question, and you will just answer in 5 seconds. Okay,
Okay.
ready for that?
Let's go.
So, Miami or Los Angeles?
Miami.
Oh my God, we have a school in Miami. That's why it's nice. Why it's Miami if it's not so personal?
um, I think it's a better lifestyle in Florida. When I said it was a tough call because I love California for flying. California is
Uh-huh.
amazing flying. I'm a business owner. California is terrible for taxes. Um, they want to tax you for everything.
Yeah.
And both have very good weather, good aviation culture. So I think Miami for being on the East Coast, close to New York.
It's perfect. So let's continue. Baseball or NBA?
NBA.
Oh, perfect. Warsaw or Prague?
What was that one?
Warsaw or Prague?
Warsaw. I have a fondness for Poland. I did a book tour there. Great city.
Really? Have you ever been in there in Warsaw?
Warsaw, yeah, several times.
Okay, perfect. Lovely. Lovely. Here.
Air.
Okay. Indian kitchen or Thai kitchen?
Indian.
Oh my God, wrong answer. You need to choose Turkish kitchen. Come on.
That wasn't a choice. I'm a fan of the Ottoman Empire. I watched the whole series.
Okay. So, baklava or donut? Have you ever tested baklava?
So,
Of course. Perfect.
Turkish
Airbus
coffee
or
is
Boeing?
amazing too.
Yeah, yeah, really, it's really.
Yeah.
Airbus or
Boeing.
Boeing?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Boeing. Home team.
I would like to kindly remind you that I am an Airbus pilot, but I
It did
respect
cross
your,
my mind.
decision. Okay. Scuba diving or parachuting?
Scuba diving.
Scuba. And chopper or racing motor?
Say that again. It was what?
The choppers, or racing motorbike,
Oh,
motorcycle.
racing bike.
Of course, racing. Okay. So go-kart or NASCAR? Which one? Because you have some
NASCAR.
go-kart. Of course, NASCAR. Thank you for the information and the quick answers. So we have understood that we have a totally different idea with you, but we respect. I mean, when it comes to the Airbus, as I told you, so it's good. So back to I don't want to exceed the third. Do you read me, by the way?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so back to your books. Do you have any new you have when thriller on the way or any new book project? Do you have?
So that's available right now on Amazon called Steel Fear, and it's interesting book. It has a lot of aviation in there. It's a
Mm-hmm.
made up story, so we call it a novel. But
Mm-hmm.
it's about a serial killer on a Navy
Mm-hmm.
aircraft carrier. So the big massive ship that
Mm-hmm.
carries all the jets and helicopters and airplanes. That book comes out July. It's available now, and we're filming the TV series this summer.
Oh,
So I'm excited
perfect.
about that.
Yeah, we are really excited too because the next question follow like, do you have any offer from Hollywood or something like it?
Yeah, no, yeah, we're just about to make the announcement next week probably for the
Okay,
TV series.
perfect. Perfect, lovely. We are eager to wait, and we would like to really see. And so back to the aviation. I would like to ask you one or two last question, if I may. We are just,
Okay,
exceeding the time that we have planned. Sorry
sure.
for that. And so, how do you think the pandemic affects the aviation in the normal life?
That's a good question. I think people have a better appreciation for how easy it was to hop on a plane and go halfway across the country or the world for that
Mm-hmm.
matter. So I think people have a much greater appreciation for the kind of global aviation network that we created. Um, and they miss the travel. And it's also, I think, taught us how closely connected everything is in the world. I used to spend every summer in in Europe. I was planning this summer actually to spend a couple weeks in Istanbul, and I think it's pronounced Bodrum as well. I have a
Mm-hmm.
classmate of mine. She's from Turkey as well, and invited a group of us from Harvard down there. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, I think I try and always focus on the positive. It's definitely impacted aviation, you know, as an industry, but hopefully people have a new appreciation for air travel and what that means, and I think people are thinking about it differently as well. So I think we see positive changes in the future.
It's always better to stay in the positive side, right? I mean, to keep our vibes alive and to just to go for our aims, as you used to say, yeah, right? I mean, that's why we are not that pessimistic as well. Of course, pandemic affects aviation so much, but we are expecting to sunrise and the day to come, let's say. And meanwhile, if you come to do Istanbul, just let us know because we are Istanbul-based company, okay?
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I would love to go flying in Turkey. That
Yeah,
would be
be our guest. So, one last question, okay? Then I would like to kindly close the the live streaming. And besides, for those who missed the streaming, we will record this streaming and we will release in our Instagram page and in our YouTube page in Pilot Olsam, and so you can follow again. Okay, so for those viewers, so any advice for pilot trainee candidates? What do you think?
I would steal a slogan from Nike. Just do it. I see so many people that just put it off, put it off, put it off, or they start, they stop, they start, which makes it more expensive. Um, Make the decision and just do it and finish it all at once. It'll be one of the best decisions of your life.
Okay, perfect. So, sir, thanks for sharing your time with us, and thanks for accepting our offers and the participating our interview. It's really good, very good experience for us. And thanks for sharing your time. And we used to close our program with an Atatürk saying, which is who is our founder. But before saying and jumping into that, what I would like to underline is we are going to have an online free seminar next week for those who would like to start, to flight training in Zoom next week. Just for your information. And for closing the program, as Atatürk said, the future is in the sky, and we will be in the sky as our house if till the moment our house is, let's say, proper for flying. So thank you again, sir, and I wish you a lovely day from Turkey, and we are eager to see the series very soon.
Great. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, sir.